RWP is brought to you by Porch Beer Entertainment.
Welcome back in, Rando Nation.
Oh man,
Nationwide is on
so
your side.
I do want to hear.
Check.
I do want to hear about your 4th of July because that happened recently, and I was curious. I did see a Instagram story or photo. I saw some burgers on the grill.
Yeah.
I believe you were in Fredericksburg, Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me a little bit about your. So here's what I actually care about. I want to care about the food consumption and the alcohol consumption.
So, in the morning, we left pretty early. Well, after we went to the gym, I was like, no. I woke up, I was like, I can't.
Yeah, I did the same thing.
The night before, we were out with, we went and bought fireworks, right? So, like,
of course.
normally I like to go and get, like, the illegal kind, you know, the big mortars and explosions, stuff like that.
The ones that are literal, like, army-issued, like, explosives.
And so, like, I hadn't done that because, like, we haven't, like, celebrated true 4th of July in a long time. So we went and we saw, we were with this other couple, and then there was, like, one of those stands. It was like, buy one, get one free. So we're like, hey.
Classic move.
I was like, let's collaborate.
Yeah.
How about we buy, like, you know, $160 worth of fireworks, split it down the middle. So we bought a big pack, and they give you another pack free. So we bought the $130 big, like, you know, huge fireworks set.
Jesus.
And then we got another free, and then we got a tiny little bag, and then we got another one free. So we each spent $80.
Wow.
On a total purchase of like 160 plus. And we just started doing it in between the rain, and then we all lit off fireworks. We grilled out earlier in the day. We lit off fireworks, and then back here, one of our neighbors saved the day. So, like, we all had, like, small fireworks, like the legal kind. And she's like, I might have some that are, like, super old, like 4 or 5 years. And we're like,
oh, yeah, that's classic.
We're like, sure. I mean, we'll see if they work, right? Like, I know they don't last forever, but so she brought them out. And these things were, like, 22-shot giant go up in the sky. So we had, like, 5 of those. And we did, like, a finale for all the kids in the neighborhood.
Yeah, of course.
And then we had a bunch of beers, and then we went to sleep. And then
what was the food selection?
We had burgers, hot dogs, grilled chicken, buffalo chicken dip, pasta salad.
Did Ashley make her buffalo chicken dip?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, good.
We got extras in the fridge. We can have some of that one.
That's a classic. I love the Ashley buffalo chicken dip.
So good.
Is a classic. That's
what made me, like, lactose intolerant. I ate so much of it, my body had a reaction.
I'm pretty sure there was a party where Ashley made that, and I basically ate all of it. I'm pretty sure I stayed by the buffalo chicken dip the entire time and kept getting the scoops.
Dude, it's so good.
No, it's good. I love me a good buffalo chicken dip. I'm a fan. Yeah, we did burgers. Now we don't have a grill yet, so I had to do it on the stovetop. But it's still I made it work.
It still works.
I made Abby some turkey burgers. I did some regular burgers, and then we had fries.
Nice.
And then we had veggies, and then we had some leftover mac and cheese from Dogfish Head.
Oh, their mac and cheese is good.
Yeah, so we did mac and cheese, veggies, fries, burgers. It was a feast. And that's the way you got to do it when it comes to July 4th. You got to pig out a little bit, because that's what America's all about.
Yeah.
Eating a lot of food and drinking a lot.
Land of the free, home of the fat.
I think I had texted you and the group because I was trying to figure out.
You said, how early is it to drink? And I said, honestly,
that's the thing.
For beers, unless it's like Nick pointed out, Nick the Goose from the Goose Cast said, you know, breakfast stouts are a thing, and that's like a breakfast beer. But, like,
oh no, I just did regular beers.
In terms of beer, like, around 11 o'clock is when I can, like, stomach it, right? Because if I start drinking a beer at 9, I'm like,
I didn't drink it at 9 o'clock.
I feel like an alcoholic.
Because baseball was on the TV starting at 11.
Yep.
So I was kind of like, I'm in the mood. It's baseball. It's 4th of July.
4th of July.
Yeah, but I was like, I got to be able to cook later because Abby's not going to make these burgers. So I was like, I have to be coherent enough.
Yeah,
to
you
cook
got to be able to. Yeah,
we had some leftover Grabbits. Have you ever had the Grabbits?
No, what is that?
Amy's is the brand that makes them. They make a lot of frozen meals, but they also make these like Oreo organic, like knockoff brand. and
Interesting.
they're called Grabbits. They're pretty good.
Grabbits.
Had some Grabbits as well for dessert. I had some cosmic brownies. I believe you know the cosmic brownie world.
Dude, cosmic brownies.
I had some cosmic
were like,
brownies. Yeah, I bought some recently at the grocery.
Oh yeah,
those are one of those items where when you're shopping with your wife, where
they're
you
like
throw it into the bag.
$1.60. Oh, and see if they notice.
You throw it into the cart, and then they don't notice until you're at the checkout line. They're like, "Oh, well, it's too late."
And here's what I do. And Ashley always is like, "How did you get this stuff in the cart?"
Yeah.
So she thinks she catches me all the time, right? So I'm the master of. Ashley's probably not listening to this.
No, she doesn't. Why would any of our wives listen to the things that we do?
I get decoy items. So
Yeah.
I see something that I want to throw in the cart,
Yeah.
right? So I grab something else that's a little ridiculous.
Mhm.
I slip the first in there, but then I put the second one on top. So when she turns around, I'm putting this thing in there. She's like, no, take that out. And I'm like, oh, come on. And she's like, no, we don't need that. I'm like, okay. I like
fine.
no questions asked.
Yep.
Here we go. I put it back on the shelf. The original
Cosmic
item,
brownies are still in the
the
cart.
original item made it in.
Yeah.
And it's just like, and I'm on shopping cart pushing duty.
Yeah.
So
So am I.
I always have to push the cart.
I've never not push the cart. I
Yeah.
don't know what life is without
I-
pushing the cart.
I know, dude.
And I hate pushing the cart.
There's never been a time where I have not pushed the cart when it's Ashley and I shopping. It's just a thing. She puts the purse in the front.
I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is either because I am always a cart pusher.
Yeah, but
And you do that move where you try to get them to push cart where you kind of push
or
it.
push it towards
and
them,
then you get it
and they keep walking.
And
They
they
don't
keep-
even care about the cart.
No, they
Yeah.
don't. They don't.
It's just it's
I've
it's
done that
ridiculous.
before,
That's
too.
the move. They like look
Yeah.
at. They're like, "What is this?"
Yeah,
and they
why
keep
is this-
walking. Yeah.
Can you push the cart, lackey?
But it works to our advantage because
Yeah.
we see the cart, we see what's in it, we see all the intricate stacks because we're putting everything in there.
Yeah.
They're walking ahead. They're down different aisles. They have
Yeah.
no
Their mind's
idea.
on different things.
Yes. So I put in a decoy item
Yeah,
on top of the
smart.
original
Smart.
because they'll be like, "Oh, grab this." I'll be like, "Okay." I grab like a couple things, and one of those is the goal item, right? And then everything on top is just
Yeah.
stuff. It's like fodder. It's
Yeah,
like you got to weed
yeah.
through it, and then if they don't even catch the top item,
Then you're
guess
set
what?
too.
That's a 2-for-1.
That's a great deal.
It's a 2-for-1, and
Yeah.
I've left the store with I've like honey buns, this crazy wild Tupperware one time.
Yeah.
Anything as long as I use the decoy
Yep.
system.
I got that cosmic brownies.
They
in
think
that, way.
they have caught us in the act, and they're like, "You're not sneaky." I'm
Ugh.
like, "Well, it turns out I am."
Yeah, you got to throw some cosmic brownies in there. You got to go to down that aisle that has like cosmic brownies, little
it's
Debbie's.
it's basically
all that
the bread
different stuff.
aisle. Yeah,
Yeah,
the
You gotta work your way
donuts.
by there.
Oh man,
yeah. We've got a new grocery store now, which is like a whole different experience
Where
because
you
you're
guys
so
go
used
now?
to. So
where did you shop originally? This
originally
might be
we
local
went to North
Virginians.
Point Giant was where we were typically going
For
to
all of
Giants.
your grocery trips.
for our grocery trips
That's
from
like-
Herndon. Yeah,
That's like
it's not that far.
it's like 12 minutes.
Well,
but
it's the best Giant in that area.
it is. Yes,
and
by
they have
far.
like the meat selection is also really good.
I grew up right next to that Giant. That
Yeah.
was my Giant. Yeah.
And then, so now that we've moved, we're now going to the Franklin Farm Giant, the one off of Fairfax County Parkway.
Yeah,
We're
that's
going
pretty-
to
You
that
know,
one.
there's one right across the
Off of
street
50,
from
yeah. No,
my house too.
yeah, there's one off of 50 as well.
We can walk to the one in like 10 minutes from here.
So right now, recently, we've only been there a couple weeks. So recently we've been going to the Franklin Farm Giant, which actually is better because on the
You
weekends.
get those bonus card savings. Get that gas points.
Well, there's the gas points. The problem is I use my parents' phone number because I don't really use mine. I don't have like, I don't think I have a Giants account.
I use a phone number.
I'm just
that is
feeding my parents gas money.
I
don't
use
know.
a phone number that's no longer active. But it's still hooked up to Giant.
Yeah,
So
so
no
do I.
one else in my family it's our original home phone, which was a cell phone.
Yeah.
And it's been changed since, but with Giant, it still holds the value.
Yeah.
So Ashley and I have been loading it up and using it. No one's got to put it
somebody
in.
could drive for a million miles without having to pay for gas.
Yeah.
With the amount
It's
of money
insane.
that's saved on that.
It's insane.
Yeah, I use my parents' number. I will say also, we got, real quick, so our TV package, so we went, the only one in the area was Cox, and part of the package was a home phone number. And part of the home phone number, so that was the whole thing. So I said, like, look, I don't need a home phone number.
Right.
I just
Well,
want
yeah,
TV
who
and
else-
internet. They're like, well, it's part of the package. So right now, we do have the ability to have a home phone number.
Yeah, you just have to go buy the phone.
But I have to go buy the phone.
Yeah.
But I haven't bought the phone, so I just have the number. And now it just goes, it rings and rings and rings, and then eventually goes to voicemail. So we can leave as many voicemails on that number as possible. But here's the funny thing is, I imagined leaving voicemails now, and then like 3 years later, let's say I get the actual phone, and then I listen to those voicemails, and I think, what the hell was going on at that time?
Oh, yeah.
But it's a scam.
It is a scam.
The whole TV internet stuff is a scam.
The best part is, so that number is not active, you know?
Yeah.
Well, it's active,
No,
but
it's active.
you don't have a phone, though, right?
Correct. But it rings. It rings and goes to voicemail.
Yep, and I've logged on to Verizon one time, and it said I have 99 plus voicemails.
Oh, I'm sure I've
and
got a
missed
ton.
calls. Yeah, and telemarketers will still call that number.
Oh, yeah.
And without knowing that no one's gonna answer, and they keep doing it.
Yeah, I'm
like
sure.
Over 100 calls in the first month went to that number.
Yeah, it's not
and I'm
good.
like, that's dangerous. Imagine if I had
dangerous.
actually bought the phone. That thing would have rang 100 times in 1 month. I would have just disconnected the phone myself.
I kind of want to buy the phone. I kind of want to buy the phone and just place a lot of
Be old school, yeah.
prank calls.
Throw back to our childhood, yeah.
Throw it back. Yeah, you're right. Plug in the Atari.
When you actually fill out forms, instead of putting your cell phone for home
put that,
phones,
yeah.
you could actually put a home phone number.
Yeah, because there's always that's the thing. Anything I have to fill out, it says home phone number, cell phone number, and I always put the same number twice because I don't have a home phone number.
I do that too, yeah.
Now I can finally put a home phone number. We'll see. We'll see if it works out. This is episode 42.
Yeah, sorry. We're actually part of the Random Word podcast.
Yeah, forgot to
we kinda
introduce
jumped
us.
right into it.
Yeah, it's whatever.
We're recording. This is a double header in the studio today.
What are we doing?
So we've had a giant 32-ounce beer each, followed by a couple other beers. So this one's going to be a little toasty.
It might be a little rough,
ladies and gentlemen.
because Salty Dalton, this is going to be released next week. So the week you're listening to it right now, normal time, and then we're going to be off for a week because Salty Dalton will be traveling at Fort Worth, and then we'll be back normal schedule the week after that. So we are doing back-to-back shows, putting one out here this weekend, putting one out this week, and then taking a week off while Salty Dalton travels, and then we'll continue with season 4 of the podcast. We'll get back into some normal scheduling there when we can. So Salty Dalton, as we do here in this new season, as they heard on the previous episode, we start each show with a haiku now. Here in season 4, it's a randomly generated haiku. So I don't know what it's going to be.
So this one I'm actually going to fill out the form here for the random haiku. Pick a time of year. I put summer. An adjective. I put random. For Random Word podcast.
Sure, that's good.
2 singular nouns which you would not usually expect to find in the same sentence. Bottle cap.
Bottle cap. Yeah, that's a good one.
No, let's do beer.
Beer and flag.
Flag.
'Cause,
Another adjective. What are you feeling?
Rambunctious.
That might be too many syllables.
Oh,
let's
you're
keep
right.
it like, because it's
Okay.
575.
How about crazy?
Crazy. Oh, hell yeah. A verb. Talks. Okay. Write me a poem. Let's go.
All right, here we go. Haiku.
Beer. A haiku. It's called
here we
beer.
go. Listen in. Here we go.
Random summertime. A bottled crazy beer talks at the perfect flag.
Oh, was that it?
Yeah.
That's haiku. I forgot.
575. Yeah.
Nice. 575.
Let's do it.
That's the area code. There we go. Episode 42 here. Random Word Podcast.
I'm just going to keep saying the name. It's the Random Word Podcast. You got to understand what that means, right? Everything that they do is based on Spy Kids.
I came up with this dick monster.
By the way, look at that bird. That could be on the Random Bird.
Letting the sweet release of death embrace me.
Grab the dustpan! Dog justice.
Dog justice too.
Feel the lure.
Yeah.
Tim's dad has been thrown out of 5 Little League games so far by the local umpire crew here, but I just can't quit you, dear. I just can't shoot you.
Can't quit you.
Good morning.
Good morning. Hey, buddy. Wake up. It's time to go. I ordered these from the Baby Gap. Reading a dictionary?
And she kept saying the word heavy. Hunter, I barely know her. Your Tamagotchi has AIDS. It's like, how does it have AIDS? Like, so many baby heads could fit in there.
I don't think bite my neck like a fucking vampire.
Oh.
Ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
It's time to waste your time. It's the Random Word Podcast with your hosts, Ben and Salty Dalton.
Welcome in, Rando Nation. Nationwide is on your side. Season 4, episode 42. With your hosts, Ben and Salty Dalton. Yours truly here, welcoming you back in for the newest season. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being there.
Yep.
Thank you for learning alongside us. And now a few words from our co-host, Ben.
We're here, we're queer, and we're ready for beer. It's the Random Word Podcast. We're excited to be here. And episode 42. Again, you can reach us on social media at the Random Word Podcast on Instagram and on email, the Random Word Blog at gmail.com. Again, that's the Random Word Blog at gmail.com. Another episode here, and new season. We're going to have some twists and turns, possibly some guest appearances again, possibly some interviews as we round out the final. Not the final episodes of the show.
That's it, guys. It's done after this. We're out of here.
Final episodes of this season. So starting.
We're out.
Every season, when it gets time to the best of, I think to myself, God, I wish I kept, after each episode, the clips to prep myself so that way by the time I get...
Instead of waiting through 10 hours of...
Exactly. Each time I don't do it. So maybe this will be the season I do it.
I don't think so.
I don't know.
Not
we'll
after
see.
this many
I've got some
beers.
extra time. So
Yeah,
I don't know.
True. We got a whole weekend ahead of us.
We do. Oh,
Happy 4th of July,
half of
everybody.
Exactly. Happy 4th of July.
Whether you celebrate it or you don't, maybe you're from Europe and this is just another day of the week. I know it's awkward for England still a little bit, how we were kind of just like, see ya. Take all this tea? F this tea.
Yeah.
This bay, this harbor is now full of tea.
Funny thing about that, and I don't know if you've read history, is that
if I've read history, the book History.
The reason why we threw the tea in there was because we just didn't like it. It's not because of the British or taxes or anything like that. It was just like, look, I don't like the taste of this. That's why we're throwing it in.
Yeah, it was weird. It was
a coincidence.
It came at a different time. Like, so people associate, they're like, oh, English people drink tea. This is like a sign of rebellion. It was just, it really was.
Didn't like the taste.
There's a bunch of merchants who got sick off of this tea, and they were like, we need to get rid of this in order to save ourselves. And then they turned out to be like, it's sort of that situation where you've done a lot of things and people misinterpret it, and you just have to write it out.
Yeah, you become like God.
They're like, yeah, we were just being patriots, but really they were just throwing out some bad tea.
Yeah, everyone's like, you guys rock, and they're like, yeah, we do. I guess we were just throwing this out because it's disgusting.
You guys hate the establishment. Yeah, that's what happened.
That's what we're doing.
Yeah, exactly. That's right.
Right now.
We're here. We're riding it. Yeah.
Happy July 4th to everyone now listening to this a week after July 4th.
Those are fireworks.
Sounds pretty familiar. Fireworks were going off in my neighborhood all night. All night. At some point, guys, come on. Once midnight hits, stop firing off the fireworks. We're no longer celebrating America.
And you got that one guy who's like, was that firework or gunshot? It's like, yep, that's a perfect... If you're going to shoot somebody in public, I think 4th of July
same time
is the best time.
Yeah. They do that in Stranger Things. You got to watch the new season. There's a firework goes off as somebody's being shot.
Oh, dude.
It's not a spoiler because I'm not telling you who's being shot.
The main character.
Yeah. All the kids die. No, I'm just kidding.
Ooh.
Maybe they do. We'll
see. A little dark here. Anyway.
Yeah, what do we want to... We want to get to the word here, the reason why we're here, you and I, on this table.
Wait, we did the haiku, yeah.
Yeah, we got to get to the word.
Let's do it. So, let's go. Word.
Again, this is the reason behind the show.
Word it up, yeah.
We're going to talk a little random word, teach you a little thing or two.
Get learned. Let's do it. I feel that. I feel that. So many beer.
Your word is
Catbird. Sorry.
What?
Catbird Seat.
You have to be ready. When it goes, the word is, and then stops playing the music.
I'm sorry.
You can't go, Catbird, I'm sorry.
Catbird Seat. That's CATBIRD. Catbird space SEAT seat. Catbird Seat.
You keep picking these 2-word words.
Yeah.
Like milk toast. Those were 2 different words.
So this is Catbird Seat. It's a noun.
I'll tell you one thing. I have no idea what this word is.
You want to guess what the word might be?
No idea.
Okay.
No idea.
So it's a noun, and it's a position of great prominence or advantage. So I had the catbird seat at the game the other day. I was right behind home plate.
That's how most people describe it.
Maybe.
This was the catbird seat.
I'm trying. I've never heard this word in my goddamn life.
Wow. Was this on the calendar?
Yes, it was. Yeah, 100%.
Man, okay, then I can't question it because it was on the calendar.
But catbird seat, I guess it just means like if you're like, I got a really good vantage point, you're in a catbird seat. And I don't know what that means because like maybe the cat is hunting the bird from a seat.
A catbird seat.
Yeah.
So
that's the word.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's like an advantage, you're saying.
It's basically a position of like prominence or regality, like you know how like a king sits in a throne. They're in the catbird seat.
So like for you, when you take the train home, if you're on the seat where you don't have somebody sitting next to you.
So the way it works, so it's doubles all the way back, like in the metro, right on the first floor.
Yeah.
There's a second floor to the train.
Ooh.
And it's all singles.
Ooh.
So basically, I get the catbird seat. If I am sitting on the top, I'm in the only chair in that row by myself. I get the window. I get to hang out.
That's incredible.
Oh, it's
How
great.
often do you get that?
In the mornings, I have like a 70% chance of getting one.
Yeah.
Depending on how busy it is, if I pick the right car, I can get a top level catbird seat, literally all the way in, and then it's only happened 1 or 2 times on the way home because it's so packed. It's the first one people go for. When you walk in the train, you take a quick look at the top, and it's hard to see if people are sitting in them, and you have to guess because you have to be
That's
like,
a gamble.
I'm either going to walk up here and do it because I've seen people walk up and it's been full and they have to turn around and go back.
That's a bad experience.
Oh, it's because it's packed. It's cramped.
What happens if you like don't get a seat on the train? Do you have to stand?
You just stand. Like,
Damn.
I mean, it's a little bit narrow. It's much nicer than the metro or the subway for people who aren't in the DC area. But it's still much nicer, but you just have to stand until one opens up.
Best seats on the metro are the seats right before the handicap old people seats.
Yeah.
So the two seats that are facing in are the handicap seats. You take the 2 seats that are facing those.
You get
sit
leg
there,
room.
You have
Oh,
leg
yeah.
room. I have a place to put my foot on.
Also, I'm proud of you for
Yeah.
riding the metro again because that's another
Yeah,
thing
I
where
was
like
anti-metro for a while.
you absolutely
Well, I was afraid it was going to blow up.
of all the things
Because there was that period of time where like the metro was crashing
it still
like every
is
week.
crashing every week.
Yeah, where it was literally like, metro's on fire today. I don't know, people died. But no, I am to Nats games specifically. I am taking the metro every single time. Here's a tip for those listeners at home: if you are a Nats fan, you take the Metro Silver Line all the way, or Orange Line all the way to Capital South. That way, you don't have to change trains, and then you can walk from the Capital South stop
That's
to
a
the
long
stadium.
walk.
It's not it's a lot shorter than you think. It's about 15-minute walk.
We do orange or silver to Metro Center.
No, see, that's a rookie mistake because then you have to change trains.
Yeah.
You take it to Capital South. It's a 15-minute walk through good neighborhoods. It's not a bad walk. And then you take it all the way to the stadium. And then the key is on the way home from the games, you go there because you get on the train before the other stops do. So you can get your seat before it hits Metro Center where all the people get to as
That's
well.
interesting. Actually,
Yeah.
I might try that next time.
You should. Capital South. It's
But
good.
because we normally do that, then we go to the Navy Yard ballpark. We go out with everybody else.
No, rookie mistake. Rookie mistake. No, take it to Capital South.
Cool.
And
All
if
right,
you don't live in DC and don't go to baseball games, this is irrelevant for you.
listen, it's basically for all public transportation. You need that.
Cat's a jammer.
Everyone knows. Everyone knows that
Milk
there's
toast.
a catbird seat
Catbird seat, man.
on every type
100%.
of transportation, and if you
Especially if you take daily public transportation.
if you're the early worm gets the catbird seat.
Yeah,
as
that was the key in the bus.
Abraham
in the
Lincoln
mornings.
used to say.
He did used to say that. I remember in the bus in the mornings, the key was before school is people. So there was a period of time where we used to all communicate, and then there was a certain time where anyone that rode the bus slept on the bus on the way to school. So the key was to make sure to sit in the seat that nobody sits on the opposite side. You spread your legs across that seat.
Across both, yeah.
You bring a jacket, backpack, use that as pillows. Next thing
'cause
you know,
it's
you've got a freaking hotel in your bus.
We'd have to catch a bus at like 6:15 in the
Same.
morning.
Yep.
And it's like, damn, like
is-
that's like it's like a 40-minute loop because we were the first stop. So when I walked on, the bus was absolutely
Yep,
empty.
same.
So I would be like, where am I going to sit today? And I'd pick a thing and I would literally just like put the jacket against the window, slam my head against it, fall asleep until we get to school.
It's incredible. It's incredible. Now, I
Yeah.
wish I could do that on the way to work, but I have to drive the car.
Yeah.
Now it's time to thank our sponsors here, Salty Dalton. The
Sponsor.
people that pay the bills to make sure that we can
It's
do
true.
this show.
For a podcast of this size to run as efficiently and as swiftly as we do,
Yeah, we do.
We have strong support system.
They do tremendous work, and that starts with the folks at Nails. These are
Nails.
edible fake fingernails. And here's the thing, Salty Dalton. I'm a fingernail biter.
Are you?
I can't hide it. I'm a biter. I don't have fingernails. I bite them. But here's what happens now because of the sponsor Edinails. These are edible fake fingernails, and this is a way to cut your bad habit because these are edible fingernails. That way I'm eating these fake fingernails, I guess, and then not eating my real fingernails.
Right, yeah.
And so they're edible nails, and they're not really cutting my habit. They're just not actually eating my actual nails.
Now, so there are a couple different versions, I believe, of this one. So, from what I understand, the nails themselves taste terrible.
Yeah, that's
so
what I hear.
It's helping you cut your habit, right?
That's what it is.
And if you truly, like, if you're trying to stop, right, so you're biting into it, maybe it's like ghost pepper.
Yeah,
Ghost
ooh.
pepper chili right
God,
there on your
that
mouth.
would be quite a leap.
We ate the hot chicken challenge. I don't want to be anywhere near something that hot ever again in my life. Try Edinails. Cut your habit today. No mess. No second thoughts. No more biting.
Edinails, go to edinails.com/RWP. Type in the code, the random word, and that will get you 25% off of an Edinail. One Edinail, you get 25% off. You got to buy in sets of 5, obviously. But I don't really chew my. I don't know. I was trying to think of like which nail I chew the most.
I could never get into that. Okay, so
Yeah.
the only like
It's a nervous tick, and I only really do it when I'm driving because and I have a long drive.
I just don't know how you bite off nails. It's
I
got to
don't-
be so hard.
It's not hard. It's not hard because I have a teeth like a velociraptor. It's not hard, and I just get used to it, and I don't know why. It's a terrible habit. Trust me, I'm well aware. I've also bought my parents used to get me the fingernail polish thing that
Yeah,
like,
where
makes your
you
nails.
coat it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I've tried that, and I've just gotten used to the taste of that, and be
Well,
like, now I'm obsessed with this taste.
It's
I
a
love
great thing that you found Edinails through this
Thank God.
podcast. Yeah.
Thank God for Edinails. And Salty Dalton, we got another sponsor to thank here.
Okay, so right now, we just formed a partnership with a brand new way to make laundry day not the worst day of your life.
I do not
I
like
know.
laundry day.
Everyone dreads it. It comes at
Coming
the
up,
end.
it's Saturday or
Yep,
Sunday.
Saturday,
for me.
Sunday. It comes at the end of the week
God.
where you got to set aside a couple hours. You knock out the laundry. You think about folding it. You don't fold it. You wait another day. You fold it. No more. We're talking about the Electro Hamper, the first electronic smart laundry basket that can even wash and dry your clothes at
What?
set intervals during the week.
That's incredible.
Basically, you throw your clothes into this hamper, right? It determines whether or not it's white, it's a dark, and it will just go ahead and wash it there
So you're
on
saying
the
it's
spot.
racist.
I am saying it is racist.
Yeah.
It is a clean machine.
Yeah.
It will wash your clothes every 2 days. Whatever's in the hamper, it'll wash it. No colors will bleed. You can have whites, darks. You
That's
can have whatever you want
unbelievable.
in there. And then basically, once it does that, it spits it out into, so it's a 2-hamper design. The second hamper will dry the clothes. And then guess what? You just grab that dry clothes basket, pull it out, start folding. You now cut your laundry time
Wow.
in half.
Wow,
It's insane.
wow.
Basically, Electro Hamper. Reset your closet every day.
Retail price, what's the
Oh.
retail price on that?
Retail price is almost $600.
Yeah, it's a lot of money because it's like a washer and a dryer.
It's $600. But right now, through an exclusive partnership with the Random Word Podcast, if you visit electrohamper.net and you get the new Select 8000 model, we're willing to take 10% off the price
10%.
immediately.
Do the
And
math on that, people.
Here's here's the kicker, okay? 10%, maybe it's not that much, right? You're thinking, okay, that's maybe, $70 that you get to put in your pocket right there.
Yeah.
The best part is free shipping, free installation.
Oh my God.
You don't even need to try to figure out the cords, the wires, how you're going to get water into it. There is a team from Electro Hamper ready to come out to your house the day you get it, install it, no mess, no fee, with the Random Word Podcast. Again, when you're checking out, you need to enter the promo code CMO. That is CMO.
People, this is what we do for you. This is the hard-fought contributions of our CMO Pete, who he's been working hard for us to get these relationships
crisp
with these
pop.
sponsors. That was a great pop. The relationship with these sponsors, CMO Pete, thanks to him for the wonderful connections there with Electro Hamper and Edinails. Now, Salty Dalton, There's a thing that we like to do around these parts.
Yeah?
And that's to inform people. That is to educate people. That is to introduce the folks at home to Salty Dalton's incredible brain explosion full body learning experience. Come on, gather around, kids. Come on.
Kids.
Gather around mom and dad. Even though you're fighting in front of all the kids in front of us, it's time to educate.
Welcome into another installment of the incredible full body learning experience
I
presented
just think
by
of like a mom and dad like taking their kid to this show.
Yeah.
And they're like, but they're having like fighting.
arguing the whole time. Yeah.
And they're just
and
like,
they make the side comments were like, "Oh wow, yeah, he knew the answer to that question."
yeah, I'm real
Jim."
impressed by the piano guy in the corner, okay? That goes da 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 da.
Do you always have to do this at every event we go to? Nitpick the worst things. Be here for our child. I am here, Brenda. Could you just like going nonstop?
And the guy at the front, which is you, is just like, okay, guys, well, I'd like to, get started now.
Tough crowd today, huh?
Yikes. All right, so it's Salty Dalton's incredible brain.
So I have a fun one here today.
Explosion.
So I'm going to talk about an event in history. Okay, we're
I like
trying to
me
get
some
smarter.
history.
We've had some cool things
Last
about.
episode, you quizzed me, and I got some things right.
Yeah, and you barely passed an elementary school test,
Barely
which is
is
crazy
a
because
question mark.
I didn't know the answer to some of those questions.
There goes your pen. At least you didn't spill your beer like you did last episode.
Hey, that highlight will be coming out in the best of.
I live my life surprising people. That's kind of what I do. And I'm glad I did.
Your brain process makes absolutely no sense for anyone watching
I
or
think they
listening.
said the same things to Newton or Einstein. They're like, Newton, why are you having that apple on your head? He's like, gravity.
Newton, why did you make 19 a 3-syllable word?
That's true. That's true.
So basically,
got?
this was done on another podcast I listened to.
Ooh,
It's like a
stealing.
history.
So you're stealing.
Yeah, it's like a history type podcast.
Okay.
This was so funny that I could not believe that this was a real thing.
All right.
I immediately was like, that's not real. I went and looked it up, and I went through, I started Wikipedia, ended up on all these history sites. This is an insane event in history.
Okay.
And I'm really happy to bring it here for you today.
I'm here for it.
So I'm here to talk about the Emu War.
The what?
The Emu War.
Emu.
We're
the
familiar
animal.
with emus. They sort of look like ostriches.
Yeah.
Big old scary birds that
Couldn't
can't
pick them
fly.
out of a police lineup.
Yeah. There's a commercial running around with Geico where it's like the dude and the emu or something, and it's this emu and this guy who are fighting crime, and the emu is just walking around because it's a bird.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, I've seen those commercials too.
So this was it's called the Emu War. It's also known as the Great Emu War. This was a nuisance wildlife management military operation undertaken in Australia during the back half of 1932. So following World War I, there was a large number of ex-soldiers living in Australia with a lot of British veterans because they were given land. They basically got land from the Australian government to start farming it, right?
Okay.
So they just fought the war. They're out of work.
Yeah.
Australia is like, hey, if you come here, because there's no one's in Australia.
No.
They're like, if you come here, we'll give you land. You just have to farm it.
You get a couple free snakes in the bid as well.
But they'll get like hundreds of acres just to farm, right? And so a lot of these guys are coming over, and they're like, all right, cool. So during the Great Depression in 1929, these farmers were encouraged to increase the amount of crops they were growing, right? And the government was like, we'll pay you back. Just keep giving us as much as you possibly can.
Sure.
They never got paid back.
Of course not.
So basically, things were getting really intense. Farming was getting very competitive. It was like the government was taking almost everything from the farmers. The farmers barely had any food left for themselves. And so, there was already a rough time for these ex-soldiers who were farming, right? The government's taken all of their stuff. They're barely having enough food to get by.
Not good.
And then, for some reason, the difficulties that were facing these farmers were increased because of the arrival of as many as 20,000 emus. Rolling through. So apparently they regularly migrate after breeding season, heading from coast to coast. So basically just like a giant Pong game. these emus are running back and forth across Australia. And
So like birds, like actual birds, but they're emus, so they're going on land.
running birds, yes. Giant running birds.
Okay.
So basically, so they head inward and they cut across Australia. So they run across all of these, farmlands and stuff. And
Yeah.
it turns out,
It's got to be an alarming sight, seeing a bunch of emus running across your farmland.
yeah, and these emus, apparently they're like huge nuisances. Like they would destroy the crops, eat everything.
God.
It would be like locust, but in bird form. They would run through, they would
Bastards.
ravage crops, they would break down the fences because they're gigantic birds. Like, they're probably like so an ostrich is probably like 8 feet or something, 6 feet.
Ostriches, they say, are like giant rats. in
Yeah,
a
so
way.
like it basically like a 6 foot large bird that runs at high speed would break through these fences, which would cause rabbits and stuff to come in and gophers and destroy the crops. So basically, these farmers who have next to nothing are just getting absolutely destroyed by these birds. So they take this to the next level. They go and meet with their local government, and they're talking about how all these birds are destroying their crops. And so a bunch of ex-soldiers were sent to meet with the Minister of Defense, Sir George Pierce.
You know it's going to get good when you say a bunch of ex-soldiers
Yes.
met with the Minister
It's-
of
it's
Defense
like the
regarding
Expendables. Yeah.
emus.
Yeah, and so they meet with Sir George Pierce, the Minister of Defense. So all these soldiers, they served in World War I, right? They're no stranger to combat. They were well aware of the effectiveness of machine guns.
Yeah.
So they requested machine guns. They were like, hey, we're a bunch of farmers. Listen,
Yeah.
we need guns. We
Look.
need a lot of them.
Look, have you ever seen a fucking emu? That thing can't be taken down by your standard BB gun or rifle. We need some higher power man.
Yeah, we need the good stuff. We need the big guns.
We need the big guns.
And the Minister of Defense was like, yeah, sure, why not? But they can only be operated by military people.
Sure.
And any kind of transport had to be financed by the government. And they were like, sure, what the whatever. And so they got these machine guns, right? So Pierce deployed basically his reasoning for this, how he spun this to the government. He's like, listen, if we deploy all these forces and machine guns, the birds would make good target practice. We're going to train our troops by fighting these birds. Okay, so if someone brought that to me, was like, why do you need this machine gun? To shoot birds.
Yeah.
But it's training.
It's training. It's not, it's birds. It's not necessarily like
It's
the
not
enemy.
rocket science, right? It's just
Yeah,
birds.
It's birds, and they're being dicks, and they're eating all of our crop, and we're gonna them up a little bit. That's what we're gonna do here.
So it's just amazingly
I
enough,
like the idea of machine guns versus emus.
right? It's crazy. The craziest part is they take that explanation and they're like, sure. So the government is like, go for it. Like, why not?
Why not?
So the war itself, so military involvement was due to begin in October of 1932.
I like how you describe it as a war when.
Oh, it's several engagements.
The
yeah.
emus aren't necessarily like on their side being like, all right,
We got to
look,
take down these humans.
I
yeah.
hear these fuckers have machine guns, so we're
These
gonna have to be a
emus
little
are just
more
like
careful.
these emus are literally just like, we just had sex. It's time to run across Australia
Yeah,
again.
this is what we do. We do this every year.
We run back and forth, back and forth, back and forth all day long.
Yeah.
So basically, it's a military operation. So someone had to be in charge of it.
Sure.
Major G.P.W. Meredith of the 7th Heavy Battery of the Royal Australian Artillery.
What a job to get.
The head of the 7th Battery of the Royal Australian Artillery was chosen to lead this effort.
It's a great gig.
Okay, he had two go-to guys, S. McCurry and Gunner J. O'Halloran. I have no idea who these people are.
That's okay.
But basically,
You should know these by heart.
so it's this small unit. So it's not a big thing. It's a small unit. They have two machine guns with 10,000 rounds of ammunition.
Oh God.
So as soon as they get ready to go, the operation was delayed because there was a lot of rain that caused the emus to scatter.
Yeah.
Because the emus were like, rain, and they all run away.
They don't want
So
to get
there's-
wet, just like we don't want to get wet.
There's no need for it. So
They need their umbrella.
So the rain
Emu
under my
emu
umbrella,
emu
Ella,
umbrella.
Ella,
Umbrella. That's what they sing.
So that was in October, right? The rain didn't stop until November 1932. So an entire month it was just raining. Where they
Is
couldn't,
that possible?
I don't know. Where they couldn't hunt emus at all because the emus all ran away. So basically the rain stopped. So the troops were finally deployed to help the farmers. And according to the newspaper, to collect 100 emu skins so that their feathers could be used to make hats for people who ride horses.
So that's the government record, but we know that it wasn't about making emu
payback,
hats.
Baby.
It's about fucking them up. It's about fucking up some emus for fucking up our farms. That's what it's about.
So this is titled The First Attempt. So there are several. So on the 2nd of November, the men traveled to Compiègne, where some 50 emus were sighted.
Yeah.
The birds were out of the range of the guns, so the local settlers tried to herd them into an ambush by being like, "Come this way!
Yeah, come this way. We're not going to shoot you. We promise we're not going to shoot you."
But apparently, the birds split into small groups and ran in patterns that were difficult to target. So they
smart by
broke
them.
into some fucking like guerrilla warfare.
They know what they're doing.
So basically, these two machine guns were just firing nonstop. And they barely hit anything because the emus were far out and they're running in these patterns.
Because the emus know what they're doing.
So they reloaded, and later that day, they were able to kill a few of the birds with two giant machine guns.
Nice.
So they killed maybe about a dozen.
In the first attempt.
In the first attempt, they killed about a dozen.
I would call that a failed attempt.
Yeah. So about a dozen were killed. So cool. They're like, all right, we're doing this. We're killing them. The next event was on the 4th of November. 2 days later, Major Meredith had established an ambush next to some local dam where more than 1,000 emus were spotted heading towards their position. So this is like, imagine like 1,000 people running towards you. That's how many emus were there. This is like some like Lord of the Rings.
That's a lot of emus.
Battle of Helm's Deep, like people running towards you, right? So basically, the gunners were ready this time. So they waited until the birds started getting close. Then they opened fire. The machine guns jammed after only 12 birds were killed, and the remainder of the emus immediately scattered and ran away.
God damn it.
So they've killed maybe like 24 to 30 birds.
Out of thousands.
Out of thousands. So they've killed like 30 birds total, right?
The worst war ever.
So, in the days that followed, Major Meredith was like, all right, we need to move these units further south where the birds were reported to be tame.
Yeah, maybe we should start, hitting more birds than 12
So instead
at a
of
time.
going after like the wild, crazy emus, they're like, let's go to some ones that are really friendly. They're like, we're moving down south so we can shoot like emus.
They say the southern emus are a little more slow, a little more friendly. Yeah.
Yeah, so basically, but they were supposed to be fairly tame, but there was only limited success, no matter all the rounds they were firing. By the 4th day of this campaign, Army observers noted that each pack seemed to have its own leader.
As they
they were promoting birds internally. A big black plumed bird which stands fully 6 feet high and keeps watch while his mates carry out their work of destruction and warns them of their approach.
Earl the emu. Yep.
Emus were f***ing up this farm, and they got a lookout, and this emu is like,
he's the
cops,
leader.
cops.
Yeah.
So as soon as the army rolls up, the emu lets the other ones know, and they all run away. They scatter. So they're just ruining these farms still. So basically, they're just like, they keep, thwarting the army at every turn. Okay, and we're 8 days in, and they've fired over 2,500 rounds of ammunition and killed maybe 50 birds.
I would call this at this point a failed operation on the behalf of the government.
If you fire 2,500 bullets and you only hit 50 birds, that's pretty bad.
Especially
out of
since
1,000.
Again, these are birds.
Right?
Not people, birds.
Birds that can't fly. Birds that can only walk and run.
Dang.
So there's a couple eyewitness reports from these events. So an ornithologist named Dominic Cerventi, I think that's like a bird study or something.
Sure.
He said the machine gunner's dreams of point-blank fire into the serried masses of emus were soon dissipated. The Emu Command had eventually ordered guerrilla tactics, and its unwieldy army soon split up into innumerable small units that made the use of military equipment uneconomic. So these birds were splitting into crack units.
As they should.
So basically, the army had to withdraw from the combat area after about a month because of these birds splitting into units and still eating the farm.
What a battle.
So these birds aren't attacking the army. They're just like, oh, crap. And they just like come up with ways to get around the people firing guns at them.
Incredible.
It's insane. So we're like a month into this, right? So representatives of the Australian House of Representatives.
Hey guys, we gave you all this money and resources. You killed about 50 emus at this point. We'd like a little bit return on our money, considering they're emus.
Right.
Would be nice. They're emus. Again, let's remind everyone they're emus.
So essentially the Australian House of Representatives was like, okay, you've been out here for what? You've shot several thousand bullets. You've killed 50. Forget it. We're not funding this anymore.
The people would probably be a little embarrassed at this point.
If I was in the army, I would be embarrassed.
But also, you're like, okay, so if anyone ever actually tries to attack us here in Australia, we're probably because our army can't even kill emus,
right?
Which don't have guns at this point. So I think you're a little worried if you're an Australian citizen and you're going, we can't kill emus. What if there are people with guns on the other side?
So basically, they withdraw all the military forces, right?
Sure.
Because that would make sense. Because they're just
Retreat.
they're doing nothing. So after they withdrew the forces, Major Meredith compared the emus to Zulus, which is an Aboriginal people around there.
Yep.
And commented on their striking maneuverability of the emus even when wounded. So he said, if we had a military division with the bullet-carrying capacity of emus, it could face any army in the world. They can face machine guns with the invulnerability of tanks. So basically, these emus are getting shot 5 or 6 times and still running and doing whatever. They're
invincible.
They're impossible to kill. So they're just firing into these emus, and the emus still running.
They're
like
the
nothing
super
happened.
soldiers of our time.
They are. Emus are the super soldiers of our time.
If you could strap an emu with like an M80 or I don't know what that is. If you could
a firework.
If you could strap them with fireworks, it'd be a hell of a show. If you could give them, so if an emu had the ability to fire a machine gun, an emu would be the super soldier.
An emu can take 6 more bullets than a human being can.
That's wild. I think a human how much can a human take of bullets? 2? 1? I don't know. Never been shot.
This is it's crazy, right? So he's just like, these emus will get shot.
They're invincible.
Upwards of 10 times.
They're
and
fast runners.
Yeah. They're wounded, but they still just and again, they're not fighting back because
just
they're
give them
birds.
opposable thumbs. It's over.
It's over. So so they withdrew. So this section's called the second attempt. After the military pulled back, the emu attacks on the crops continued because the emus were like, we're fucking hungry. We're running across.
We're invincible. We're hungry. We're going to up whatever we want. You guys can't kill us.
So the farmers come back and they're like, they are still eating everything.
Yeah. That's like a yawn sneeze.
That was weird.
A yeeze. You're a yeezy right
So
there.
they go back and they're complaining and they're like, Minister of Defense, listen, you didn't do shit. The emus are still eating everything. Yeah. We need help. So
World War II is hitting right about now as well.
This is 3 days after they called a halt to the operation.
Yeah.
So 3 days later, the military went back into the field. And this time, in over 2 days, they killed 40 emus.
Okay, pretty good amount.
And then eventually by December of 1932, they were killing about 100 emus a week.
Wow.
So they were on it. They were ready.
So how some army guys have you in your mental head you're like, okay, I know I've killed 60 something enemies at this point. These army guys, they know hey, I've killed 50 emus. So
you know what it takes
pretty
to bring
impressive.
them down. Yeah. You know the enemy at that point, right? So
yeah.
they're starting to finally kill some emus.
They're earning their stripes.
Major Meredith was called back to report.
Yeah.
And he said, so far we've got 986 kills with 9,860 rounds at a rate of exactly 10 bullets per kill. It takes 10 bullets
Wow.
to bring down one emu.
Super soldiers.
And
man.
he said that, we've wounded like maybe 2,000 because you can shoot it
you
10
can say
times.
wounded.
Yeah.
Come on.
So after this initial, thing, so despite the problems, basically after this whole exercise, emus still kept eating crops because
they did.
they only killed 1,000 and there are like 30,000 of these birds running around. So basically the government eventually was just like, hey, guess what? We're going to install a bounty system. So if you kill emus, we'll give you money for it.
Oh, that's a great system to have.
So in like literally over a 6-month period, these independent emu hunters killed like 60,000 emus.
Yeah, or otherwise known as IEH, Independent Emu Hunters. Yep,
Yeah.
IEH.
So basically, that's about where it ends, but there was an actual military operation undertaken to kill emus because they're eating crops. And the emus literally made them retreat on like 3 separate occasions.
And the funny thing is when you say military operation, especially when it's about emus, you would think that a military operation is probably got to take, 24 hours and then it's done? This was a multi-day, multi-month operation that they still didn't really succeed because at the end they went, if you want to kill emus on your own, feel free to do it. We'll pay you money for it because we can't get the job done.
It's crazy.
That's
like
insane.
10 bullets per emu.
Dude,
You shoot me once and I'm probably on the ground.
emus are our secret army. We should recruit some more emus
We
for
probably
the
should.
army.
Yeah, we should ride them into battle.
I mean, 10 bullets?
Anyway, thank you for listening to Salty Dalton's incredible brain explosion, full body learning experience, and hopefully you tune in next week for some more knowledge.
It's time for the segment that is always sweeping the nation. That is Fishbowl, the segment where we get a chance to talk of little inventions.
Welcome to Fishbowl.
So, last episode, we got to share a few different inventions. You did not. You had a 7-Eleven on wheels. I had what's in the bag.
Convenient truck. Okay,
Yep,
yeah.
yep.
Which was way better than what's in the bag.
I don't know. I think I got a good one here for this time as well. So I will go first this time because you went first last time, which we actually remember because it just happened.
Because it just happened.
Like an hour ago.
Double header.
So Salty Dalton
Lay it on me.
and the other fish. Here's where we're at here in society. So you work in a busy city.
Blah, blah, blah.
I've been down to the city as well. There's sometimes a situation where parking can be a difficult situation in a lot of different places. You can have different things like different like Parking Panda or some of these other services. Well, this is a little different service, Salty Dalton, because this is called Save My Spot. This is a rentable car service to not drive the car, but in fact a car service to save the spot for you. Yes, that is the saving a spot for you. So here's how it works, Salty Dalton. You go on the Save My Spot app. You not rent an Uber, you rent a car to go park in this specific spot for you. You designate the amount of time you need them to save the spot, and when you're around general amount of time you're going to be there, they save the spot for you. You show up, they go out, you go in. That's your spot. This is Save My Spot, the new app that is sweeping the nation.
So essentially, if I'm hearing you correctly, it's sort of like it's an Uber, but for parking spaces.
Correct.
So before you leave, you would hire this Uber to go find a spot for you.
Correct.
And then basically when you show up, they'll direct you to, like, the app will take you to the spot where you meet the driver and the driver moves out.
Yep, and you move in.
Okay, so what's the payment kind of rate like? So do
It
they
is
judge on how like busy it is, how long it takes to find the parking?
Exactly. So
what if it's not close to the restaurant? Do they charge more the closer they get?
Exactly.
Okay.
No, you're describing all the things
am I
they
giving
charge
you all
for.
the ideas for it?
So here's the thing. I mean, it's based around the amount of time, the proximity, things along those lines. It's a meter system as well. Let's say you need them. You're like, look, this is going to be the hottest ticket in town. I need somebody to wait there for hours. You can pay an hourly wait for them to sit in their car and save that spot for you. It's going to be a little expensive, but it could be worth it, especially in a busy city. Save My Spot. That is the app. That is the invention.
Okay, I'm thinking 3 stars off the bat. Yeah, that's pretty solid.
3 stars seems a little low. I feel like
I
this
think
may
there's
be a
still
5.
a lot of details you need to work out because
Well,
you said
here's-
hourly rate, distance.
Yeah.
I feel like there's an equation.
It's a lot of factors. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think it's like you've got something good there because that's better than having a mobile parking thing because you're guaranteeing a spot, right?
Right.
Yeah, so definitely 3 stars with a possibility of 4 if you get smarter on it.
Okay, there's no reason to get chippy here.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, if I'm objectively evaluating as a fish in this fishbowl,
Sure.
I'm just saying.
All right, let's hear what you got here for your fishbowl. Can you top mine? Because Save My Spot was a great idea.
It won't be hard. Welcome to Home Watch, TM.
Already hate it.
Home Watch. Watch live movies from the comfort of your home. What I'm describing to you is a cinematic experience of going to the movie theater from sitting on your couch without having to leave. So basically, it's an app. You enter the app through your Apple TV, your Fire, your Roku, whatever it is.
Sure.
And you'll enter in an online code, and you will stream the movie as it's showing in the theater. You can't pause, you can't rewind, you can't fast forward. You're watching it as if you were in the theater. You pay the movie ticket price. It's discounted because it's online. You pay what you would to go see the movie, and you get to watch it from your house as other people are enjoying it. It's called Home Watch.
Home Watch.
So, I mean, you know how like you're not buying the movie. You're paying like you pay per whatever. It's discounted.
Sure.
But you open the app and it's during whatever movie times are playing. So you would look at your Fandango
Yeah.
and you'd be like, okay, at 8:30 there's a screening of Avengers Endgame.
Okay.
I want to watch that. So at 8:30, you enter in you buy the package, you enter in the code, and it will literally show you the same screen, the same ads, the same previews, the same everything you'd be seeing in a movie theater.
What's the angle? What's the camera angle?
You don't. It's like prime seating, right there. It's the movie screen on your TV. You're not like sitting in the audience. It's just the size of the TV is the size of the movie.
So it's like watching the movie when it comes out on DVD?
Yeah, but you get to see it while it's in theaters. But you can't rewind, you can't pause, you can't rewatch it.
You could record
Maybe.
if you have the device.
It just wouldn't be great. There's probably ways around that, but essentially it would be that. So instead of waiting till it comes out, you can see it without having to actually go.
So it's like a live stream.
It's basically a live stream of the movie, only open from the time it starts to the time it ends.
Now, movie theaters may be against this because the whole reason is they know that the movie ticket's not that much, but they can get you on the popcorn, the candy.
Yeah,
all
well,
that stuff.
that's why it's going to be popular because it's cutting out the middleman.
Yeah, but I'm saying movie theaters may go, we don't want to do this because we want to bring you in for the popcorn, the candy, and all that stuff.
The beauty of it is you only need one movie theater to be in on it.
Sure, that's fair, I guess.
Yeah, because it's streaming from a platform, so you don't even need it just has to operate off of a movie theater schedule. But it only needs one.
Is there a limit for how many people can buy a quote unquote ticket to that movie?
No, I mean you buy the code. It's per device, right?
Sure.
So that device can only you buy it, you watch it on that device.
I'm going to give this a solid. This is a solid score. I'm going to give it
you just hit 1.
a 2. I'll give
A
it a 2 on that.
How is that a 2?
Here's the thing. You'll never get this off the ground. You'll never get a movie theater to agree to this because we all know the whole scam is they get you in the door
Why
with the
isn't
movie
Best Buy
ticket.
upset that Netflix streams all these movies they have?
They are upset.
Okay, well then same concept. It doesn't matter. Listen, the time and age of movie theaters is far behind us.
I agree.
So
Movie
it's
theaters have
all
to evolve.
moving to streaming platforms.
Now, I agree with you that movie theaters have to
So why not
evolve.
just pay a ticket online to watch the movie in your house and it's like a Snapchat. As soon as it finished, it's gone. You can't go back and rewatch it because that's the same thing in a movie theater.
Yeah. So
That's
it's
what I'm
going to be
saying.
very dependent. It's going to have to be a great internet connection. Because what if that stream buffers? There's nothing you can do.
Yeah, I mean, sure. As long as you have internet, I mean, it's not my problem.
So I gave you 3. I gave you three
So
stars.
you upped it from 2 to 3,
I gave you
even though it
3
should be a
stars.
5-star.
It's not a 5-star. I've heard some of your 5-star ideas. This is not one of them. I just think there's going to be a lot of backlash. There's going to be a lot of pushback from the community. Plus, you're not getting the theater experience. The whole thing is the giant screen, the sticky floors. The guy that takes your ticket that clearly hates to be working at that company. That's what seems to happen when you go to the movie theater. But it's a pretty good idea. It's not bad. It's not bad, Salty Dalton. Appreciate it.
Action.
Well, then in that case, let's move over to Pilot House.
Pilot House. Ew.
Where we generate new TV shows, pilots, and we talk about it on air. This show, this Random Word podcast, has been responsible for creating dozens
A
of
lot.
hit,
Dozens.
Emmy-winning TV
A baker's
shows.
dozen. 13.
Yeah. What?
That's a baker's dozen.
Oh, 13.
13, yeah. I went to Dunkin' Donuts today. It's just called Dunkin' now on the GPS.
I don't like
Just says
that. I like
Dunkin'.
Dunkin' Donuts. It's DD.
And I was like, there's only 2 of us. It's me and Abby. So I was like, I can't get a half dozen. I could, but I didn't get a half dozen donuts. So I want 4.
You might as well get a half dozen that price.
I know.
What are
I
you
got
doing?
4.
What are you doing?
3 chocolate, 1 like strawberry sprinkle or something.
I get strawberry sprinkled. I get
Yeah.
chocolate sprinkled.
I should have got a half dozen.
Sometimes I get a glazed in there because I actually don't mind the original
No.
glazed.
No.
Yeah, but I'll get some good stuff. I'm not a huge so I don't mind a Boston cream, right? But I'm not a huge jelly donut guy.
No. Neither am I.
Because I don't want to bite into it and have an explosion of stuff
I
inside.
bite into it thinking it's not that, even though I know
Exactly,
that I
yeah.
got that, and I'm like, oh, what is this?
I'm not eating a donut to eat things inside of the donut.
No.
It's whatever's on the donut.
the dough.
You know?
The dough of the nut.
Yeah. It's ew, gross.
No, what?
The dough of my nuts.
Oh God, we got that on camera. So
We got that on camera.
this is
This is the body cam.
I'm sending that to the police. So you get to go first here for Pilot House. I went first last time.
Okay, so
You got
again,
some TV ideas here?
yeah, I've got 2 ready for
Okay,
you.
let's hear it. Let's hear it.
They're 2 good ones again. I'm burning all my good stuff in the beginning of the season. So this is called 1 Year. It's a concept, okay? It's a concept for a crime drama show.
Okay.
Crime resets every year on New Year's. So what I'm saying is, basically it's a cop drama. Basically, after 1 year, all criminals who are not caught for open cases, those cases are gone. All charges are dropped.
Wow.
After every year, crime resets. So basically, it's a gamble. So criminals go, okay, and cop technology is great. This is based sort of towards the future-esque stuff.
Okay.
So it's if you can get away with that crime for 1 year, or if you cannot be caught for 1 year, all charges are dropped. You're scot-free.
So is this like a reality show?
No, it's just, it's like a drama TV show. So you got these 2 cops who are trying to solve these crimes
That's
before
true. These
the
can
year.
be fiction shows here, but they don't have to be reality shows.
So these cops are trying to solve this crime. Maybe it's one crime, or maybe it's a special division where
sure.
it's called maybe the
The Year Crime Division, the YCD.
or the 2 weeks notice division, where it's no one's been able to solve these crimes,
Yeah.
and it's 2 weeks before the new year,
Yeah.
and they have to figure
them
out
very
and
quick.
solve these really quick and
So
get
for-
these people
For
arrested. Yeah.
50 weeks, they get to just sit on their ass. And then the final 2 weeks, they're like, all right,
Yeah.
here we go.
Or-
You called in us.
Or you could follow, partners from year 1. It's
Sure.
people who commit crimes on the new year.
Wow.
Where it's the busiest time to do
risky.
it.
It's
The
risky.
busiest time for crimes is the day before, is literally before midnight on New Year's.
Yeah, okay.
So there are jewelry stores are on high watch. If anyone tries a crime, the thing is you only need to survive for 4 hours if you rob it at 9 at night.
Yeah, okay.
So
Okay.
that's a concept.
What's
I
the
think
name
it'd
of
be
the
kinda-
show?
It's called 1 Year.
I like it. I kind of like it because I think that could work because we have a lot of cop dramas and they kind of follow the same formula.
Yeah, it's
so
all
this
the
is taking the cop drama, putting it in the future a little bit, and adding a little twist.
Yeah.
It's not a bad concept.
Where the criminals can get away pretty easily.
And for the show itself, like you said, it could follow that specific division. You've got some characters.
Yeah.
You got your grizzled vet. You've got your young buck. You've got your brainiac. You've got your the cop that's like very like into their looks. And they're like, and then you've got your cop that's like quiet but like extremely good at the job. You can work with the same cop tropes, but you can apply it to the situation. It's not a bad idea.
So the only other one I had, this one I actually want to try to turn into a working script at some point.
Okay.
This is gold. Then maybe it's not. It's called The Corporate Dead.
Okay, The Corporate Dead.
So basically, this is a reality where. Have you seen The Good Place and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Okay, so so Grim Reapers are really just office drones.
Okay.
So when you die, not having basically, you know how it balances out. Like if you've done a lot of good things, you get into heaven. You do a lot of bad things. So the people who are in the middle of there's no decision, so like purgatory, become employees of the Corporate Dead, which is basically the Grim Reaper service that helps. They basically, you go collect souls, you interview them, you make sure they pass on, you classify like how they died and like push them along and stuff like that. And so maybe it's something like that where it's like an office drone type thing. And like this person's like, you know, you have their backstory. They died doing something really random. They were kind of like an okay person. And now they're here working, trying to move their way up the corporate ladder in the dead society.
Okay.
To become like a division head, and
So
the division head is basically like you wear the cloak, you get the scythe, and you get like some really great benefits, like unlimited PTO. All
So
sorts
purgatory is an office job, basically.
It's an office job helping
cubicle.
other souls move on.
You got to work. You work your standard hours.
And maybe you have like a regular Joe who's like someone who isn't like super enthusiastic about moving up another corporate ladder. Maybe he died in office drone.
Sure.
And is stuck here. So they go out and they make house calls. They like
That would be the ultimate you is if you were an office employee your whole life and then you die and then you become an office employee.
So like, you know, maybe the guy's like someone dies in the hospital, passes on.
Yeah.
That guy has to go to the hospital. No one can see him except for other dead employees, right? So like they might have like, you know, other people walking through be like, hey, see it, because like hospital people die all the time. So maybe he sees a bunch of coworkers. He goes in there and the guy's dead on the bed and the soul of the guy's sitting in the chair and he's like, what's going on? And he's like, all right, listen, you're dead. Let's go. We got to go. And he's got something where he touches them and they have to follow. Yeah. And so they go and they sit down. He interviews them, stuff like that. And he's like, all right, you stamps them on the head. You're going to heaven. You're going to hell.
You got to work your way up the ladder.
Yeah. Or something like that. Or you just go heaven, hell. Or it's like, welcome to the workforce. Yeah. And then they start at the bottom rung.
Interesting.
Yeah. And then maybe they meet someone who is basically who was murdered when they weren't supposed to. So they have a list of people who they're supposed to go see.
Sure.
And someone like appears on their notebook, and it's someone who died due to something that wasn't within death's control. So it was like maybe someone from the inside murdered this person. And so they're like, they don't know what to do with them. So they have to try to solve how they died. So it could be like a mystery comedy.
Okay,
you know,
okay.
maybe?
I like this. I like this idea. Okay.
That was my favorite one. Yeah.
I like that. So I like that you're bringing like fiction comedy like TV shows to because we've been pretty much strictly reality shows.
It's been a lot of reality shows. Yeah,
you're right. We can work in some other stuff. Now,
it can be whatever we want.
Mine is a reality show, but it's I now that you've brought this in, I think you've cracked the mold a little bit. So the note that I have is just esports for really old or boring games. So we have esports for like
Tetris.
Fortnite and for NBA 2K, and like these are all like what's really popular. Let's take esports and apply it to the games that we don't normally think of as like, oh, this is the pinnacle of game creation. So like you said, Tetris, like 2 Dots, if you've played that game.
2 Dots.
Trivia Crack. So you take like really old or really boring games and make that into esports, which are on streamed and
Monopoly
TV and
online.
Like Monopoly, Hungry
He's done
Hippo.
it. He's got Park Place.
And he's
like, taking the championship.
You got announcers. You've got it live streamed on TV,
like on ESPN.
Because esports are so big and they're around like exciting, fun sports. but let's say that the bubble bursts.
Could you
when it comes to
imagine like
esports.
being the great, like the world champion at online dominoes?
Yeah, see that's the thing. Like we're talking online dominoes. We're talking about that the online solitaire. Like imagine having
Could
esports
you imagine
of
a
solitaire.
tournament of solitaire?
Yeah,
These people are like sweating.
There was also when Lord of the Rings came out with their video games.
Yeah. I loved those games.
So a couple of them were really good. So like starting at the Two Towers video game,
Yes.
it was really good. But the Fellowship of the Ring video game was good, but it was not like nonstop battles. It was literally like you having to go through the things Frodo went through. So you're spending like a half hour running to the next town or something like that. So imagine that in esports form where literally you have to sitting and just watching this Frodo character have to run all the way to like the next tavern or something like that. So we're talking about old and boring games in esports because at some point the market's got to kind of balance out. You've got these exciting sports. You got to put
if you're willing to pay money to sponsor somebody to be good at Call of Duty, why not pay money to sponsor someone who's really good at like I don't know, like all the games just to me escape my head. Let's just go with Tetris. Yeah,
Tetris. Like we're talking about old and boring games.
Yeah.
Pong, all that stuff.
Oregon Trail. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what the esports. So that's my TV show pilot is.
I like that.
It's all
That's
going to
cool.
be like esports.
It's like a ESPN The Ocho.
Exactly.
But for dodgeball, where it's like those really weird sports. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be weird and boring sports here.
I like it. Yeah.
Let's move on to our next segment here. It's a little do's and don'ts.
Do it! Just do it! I
Don't think so.
Just do it!
This is Do's and Don'ts, a segment where we give you some advice about what to do, what not to do when you encounter these situations. Salty Dalton, I'll start. So this is a situation most of our listening audience has encountered, I assume, at this point, and that is escaping prison. Let's get to some
prison. Okay.
do's and don'ts. Most of you listening to the show have escaped some sort of facility. So let's give some do's and don'ts for that situation. Salty Dalton, why don't you start with your first do for escaping prison?
Okay. All right. Escaping prison. Now that's already a pretty tough one, right? You're gonna have to. I think you're gonna have to escape prison. A do is gonna be. You're gonna have to do it in the most obvious way, right? So every prison guard is on the lookout for like the hidden messages, the filing thing in the baked cake, all sorts of stuff like that. The Shawshank Redemption, digging a hole in the
cliche.
wall. Yeah.
You got to hold a poster. You got to put up a poster.
They're looking so hard at the hard to see things that they're not paying attention at all to the things right in front of them.
Yeah.
So I think just, after some time, you just sort of like jokingly be like, well, I'm just going to walk out the front gate then.
Yeah.
Or you say something like, I'm just going to climb over this fence. And they're like, oh, yeah, okay. And they turn around and they don't pay any heed. And maybe you do just climb over that fence. Maybe you do just walk out the front door. I think it will be more of a joke if you do that you'll get farther than you would ever trying to escape through any other means.
I like it. My do is, so if you ever seen a little show called Prison Break.
Oh, God,
The key there was the guy got tattoos all over his entire body that all had clues on how to break out of the prison. So his entire body was tattooed, and within each tattoo was like a clue on how to break out of the prison. Somehow he got that done and flew through the prison system, and it was fine. So you're going to follow that model. But Salty Dalton, you don't have to get super complex here. He had like hidden messages and stuff like that. You get your blueprints of the prison. You get that tattooed on you. And then you go to prison. And then next thing you know, you've got the blueprints there on your chest or on your arm.
Right.
And you go, okay, well, here's where the door is. Here's where I am. And I know how to navigate there. And it's very simple. You just got to get your escape route tattooed on your body, and that will help you escape the prison.
Could you imagine getting the wrong prison tattooed on your body? Like,
yeah.
All right, I'm ready for
or if it was like a really bad tattoo.
I'm ready for like Rikers Island or something, and they're like, all right, we're taking you to some small jail in Pennsylvania,
and
you're like,
you said Rikers, right? Rikers was where I wanted to go.
Yeah.
That's what I prefer, because
actually, I'm a terrible guy. You need to take me there. No, it's overcrowded. We're taking you here. I was like, literally, I will murder somebody right now if you'll take me there.
It does seem pretty drastic too, because the whole thing with Prison Break was his brother was in prison.
Or no, his brother's in prison, and then he got into prison, right?
Yeah.
He committed a
He
crime.
knew he was going to get into prison because he specifically spent a lot of time getting tattooed with the prison, like the
Right? Yeah.
the clues on how to break out of prison,
just to break his
basically.
brother out. And I forget why his brother was
And
even
at that
in
point,
there.
they could have waited like at least a couple of years, and his brother would have gotten out on parole.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, I was like, he, instead of like trying to get him out, he's like, I'm going to commit a crime and get into prison. And then we're both in prison. And now we have to break out of prison. And from what I understand is, after they did break out of prison, the show kept going on.
That was the problem. Is the show kept going on. So
and
the
it was
first
called
season,
Prison Break, and they were no longer in prison.
So the first season, actually a pretty good show.
I heard the first season was great.
And then you kept watching it. It was like 5 seasons. They broke out of prison. They escaped to like Mexico, and then they got put in like a Mexican prison. Then they had to escape from that prison. Then they got put in another prison. They're like, oh, we got to escape from that prison. And then they're put in like an office job, and they're like, well, this is my prison now. And then it just it was a rough situation. What's your don't for breaking out of prison?
Let's see. Don't. Don't try to get too close to the prison guards. You know how you're always trying, maybe you get preferential treatment.
Yep.
They won't look at you twice. The goal is here to play that middle ground of not being noticed and not doing enough to stand out. So the second you start buddying up with the prison guard and you know their family, how they're doing, that guy is always going to be looking for you, right? If you're trying to escape prison, you need to literally be the most unremarkable prisoner there is, to the point where that when they do like roll call, they're like, are we missing anyone? I have no idea.
Yeah.
Like, that guy hasn't spoken to anyone in 10 years. Does anyone even know his name?
Mm-hmm.
Is he even supposed to be in prison? You need to be so isolated and fade in the background that you're not the crazy guy and you're not the friendly guy. You just need to chill out.
I like that.
Yeah.
My don't is don't be afraid to stick with the classics. Now, you'd mentioned this earlier, Salty Dalton, that the classics are you dig out from your cell, you dig a hole in your wall, stuff like that. Here's the thing. The prison guards are going to be like, no one's going to do this anymore. We all know Shawshank Redemption. We know all this stuff. Don't be afraid to go with the classics. Hang a poster in your room. Use a spoon that they issue you for your dinner. You carve out. It's just a little bit of carving every single night for at least a couple years. And then finally you'll dig that tunnel. You crawl out that tunnel. You escape. Shawshank it, man. Don't be afraid to Shawshank it.
Now, the best way to do that, too, is it's behind a poster of Shawshank Redemption.
Exactly.
Just full circle.
Yes.
And, like, they look at it, they laugh, they see the irony,
that'd
and then
be so
imagine
good.
the day they pull back that poster,
So
and it's
good.
a hole, and they're like, you son of a bitch.
God
You've
damn
done
it. It's
it.
right under our eyes the whole time. No, that's really good. What's your next do's and don'ts here?
Let's do teaching a kid how to ride a bike. Now this is for those of us we're slowly eclipsing 20, and we're rapidly approaching 30.
Sure.
Which means for most people, to each their own. Whether or not you adopt, you want to have kids, you don't want to have kids. Most people are settling down around 30, right? And settling down involves having kids.
Yeah.
And having kids involves having to do the tried and true riding a bike moment. We all did it as kids. We learned how to ride a bike. Now, what are some ways that we think, after having learned how to ride a bike,
Yeah.
what are some do's and don'ts on teaching another kid how to ride a bike?
Sure. My first do. My do would be... So, in a lot of strategies, as far as teaching kids how to do things, it's about throwing them into the deep end, figuratively and literally. Sometimes teaching kids to swim, it's about just throwing them in the deep end. They survive, they live. If they die, they die. They would never know how to swim at that point. It's the same thing with bikes. But you're going to take this thing to the next level, Salty Dalton, because you're not going to just teach them how to ride a bicycle. You're going to put them on the seat of a Harley.
Son of a bitch. That was literally what I was about to say is, if they want to ride a bike, it's like, if you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
Yep.
If you can ride a motorcycle, you can ride a bike.
Exactly.
Well done.
You put
God
them on the
damn
back
it.
of a Harley, you let them go. You say, you're going to have to figure this out. If they can figure it out, you will then buy them any bike that they want, they can't figure out, well, you're going to have to chop their legs off. Just kidding. You're not going to do that. But still, if you can figure out how to ride a Harley, you can ride a regular bike. So you teach them the Harley first. That's my do.
Okay. My do for teaching a kid how to ride a bike. So fear is a powerful motivator. Okay. So one thing that you can do for teaching a kid how to ride a bike is, we've all done it. We have the training wheels. You take the training wheels off. Everyone falls a little bit, but we don't really have that like do or die mentality.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like there's nothing bad will happen if I don't learn how to ride a bike. You need to make the punishment for not riding a bike so much worse than actually riding a bike. So I'm saying, like, if you don't ride the bike, or every day you don't ride the bike, maybe you just get like thrown in a pool every day, pushed in the mud. Maybe it's like when you're riding a bike, you line the either side of the bikes with, like, I don't know, like thumbtacks. So if they fall over, they fall on the thumbtacks. You need to make, like, whatever it is.
Some good punishments, yeah.
You need to really incentivize the fact that they need to ride the bike and no longer walk.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe it's like, hey, you can go hang out with your friends on the weekend if you ride a bike there. If not, you're stuck inside this basement for the rest of your life.
Ooh, I like that. I like adding some punishment to it, because then it really forces them to get the job done.
It does, because, like, you know, you can make it through your day without riding a bike. But if you really want them to learn, you're going to have to make not riding a bike worse than riding the bike.
Yeah. I'd say my don't.
Like, hey, you can walk to school, except we're going to make you wear these high heels. Or something like that, and you got to walk to school that every day, and maybe, or make their shoes weigh 60 pounds, and be like, oh, well, just walk to school then.
Or you can learn how to ride the bike.
Yeah, and you don't have to wear their shoes anymore.
Make this thing much easier.
Yeah.
My don't for learn how to ride a bike, to teach a kid how to ride a bike. My don't would be, don't. Kind of similar along the lines that you just said. Don't be afraid to add some danger to the situation. And here's how you do that. Salty Dalton, you can go to your local zoo. You can rent a lion for the afternoon. So you have a caged lion, and you have the bike set up, and you have the kid. And
a caged lion?
Caged lion, tiger, whatever you can afford. And you set the bike up in front of the cage, like 20 yards or so. And you say, look, I'm going to open this cage.
Whatever happens.
Exactly. You're either going to ride this bike,
or I'm going to need to make a new kid,
or you're going to die. So you're going to have to figure it out. You could add some flames behind it. There's a lot of different ways you can implement danger into the situation. So don't be afraid to do that. Don't be afraid to implement danger, to use that as a device to get across the point and the lesson you're trying to get across.
Okay. I like that. So riding a bike, the hardest part about riding a bike, right, is getting it started.
Yeah.
Because once you finally get it started, it's pretty easy to go. So if you really want them to learn fast, you're gonna have to do not let them start pedaling. You're gonna want to get them up to speed. So I'm saying, like, tie a rope to the bike, and then start your car, and then you're gonna drive, and you're gonna get them.
I don't know if this is safe.
You're gonna get them at speed, and then you're gonna cut the rope, and then they're gonna learn how to ride the bike immediately, because they don't have to mess up. They don't have to, like, mess around with falling over after pedaling 3 times. They're gonna be going a cool 30 miles an hour, and then they're just
really fast for a bike.
Is it okay? Maybe
it's like really fast.
10 miles an hour? Is that faster? Closer? Anyway, once they're up to speed, they learn so fast. So you get them up to speed immediately, and you don't have to worry about the rest.
Okay. I like it. So you tie them to the car, and then you drive said car.
Drive till you hit water, man.
Drive until you hit water is not necessarily.
I would love to hear.
Oh, do you have this?
Okay, I got a phone call coming.
Go ahead and grab it.
Hello, Random Word Podcast. Oh, got me again. That's
you
called.
No, I just freak out.
That's called acting.
Man,
you believed it was a phone call until
you did.
Wasn't.
You heard some acting last episode on Fun Scripted, and you'll hear some next episode as well.
Oh man, yeah. I'm so excited for that.
Call
that
center.
was such a weird script.
I loved it. therandomwordblog@gmail.com. Again, therandomwordblog@gmail.com. The way to get in touch with the show. Robbie emailed us, Salty Dalton. He's 34 years old. In-law inquisition is the subject line. In-laws coming into town today, and they are not the biggest fan of me. What are ways I can impress them? How can Robbie impress the in-laws?
That's tough, right? Because, sometimes the in-laws, like a grizzled old army vet, want to approve of you, stuff like that. Something you can do to impress them would probably be maybe you hire an actor or two.
Sure.
To come by your house, right? So, who's an actor that's really popular right now is
Bradley Cooper,
Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, Keanu Reeves is hot.
So maybe it's just like you have the in-laws over, right? And there's a knock at the door, and you go like, "Oh man, like I'm so sorry." People always knock on the door at dinner time. Like, I'm really sorry. I'm gonna go tell them we go hit the road.
Yeah.
And you open the door, and it's Bradley Cooper, Brad Pitt, something like that. And they're like, "Hey, do you want to you want to go hang out right now?" And you go, "Sorry, the in-laws are in town. They take priority." And the in-laws are going to see a famous actor who wants to hang out with you, a nobody. And they're immediately going to be impressed because they're going to be like, this guy is way cooler than we ever thought. He's hanging out with Keanu Reeves on the daily.
Yeah.
And he chose our daughter to be his wife. Like, she's going to be famous. We should give this guy a little more slack.
Wow.
And I mean, it's going to be really expensive. I can't even tell you the hourly rate.
It's going to be, but it's going to be worth it.
But it's going to be worth it because you do that once and never again.
Yeah.
Because when they're like, "Hey, is Keanu going to stop by again?" You go, "Keanu Reeves is a busy guy."
Yeah, he's not.
You want me to tell him to rearrange his schedule for you?
Yeah, this is
he
your
doesn't
fault.
know you. I'm not going to ask that of him. They get that every day.
Yeah, Keanu doesn't have the time to do that. My advice here, Robbie, is similar to Salty Dalton. This is going to involve some sort of financial investment. And here's what you're going to do. You're going to go down to your local deli, right? And you're going to say, "Hey, look, I know you've got a lot of bones and you've got a lot of meat. I'm going to need a lot of your bones and meat." And then what you're going to do is...
That sounds super sexual.
Well, you don't say it like sexually.
I'm going to need your bones.
No, you got to say it like forcefully. And then what you're going to
do is... I need your bones and your meat.
You're also going to go to your local like taxidermy place or your local...
What? Where are you going with this?
Any sort of place that has the fur of an animal. And then what you're going to do is on your front lawn, you're going to put the fur of the animal down on the grass, and then you're going to put the meat set up, and you're going to have an axe, and you're just and you're going to time this up. Soon as
you caught me mid-skip.
Exactly. As soon as they pull in, you're shirtless, you're wearing shorts, and you're chopping meat up. And you're going, I didn't know you guys were coming today.
Are black bears native to this area?
Exactly.
I caught them in my front yard. Don't worry, I took care of it. Yeah.
So it doesn't even have to be...
That's amazing.
The meat of the animal like that you're trying to impress them with. Just buy a bunch of ground beef or whatever you want. Just kind of spread it out.
Pre-ground beef. Just ready to go hamburgers. It's like T-bone steaks around it. Sorry, I was busy preparing this.
Yeah, and then that way they go, wow, this guy is a manly man. Like, he knows animals, he knows meat, like, he knows bones, he knows what he's doing.
He made hamburger patties from a dead animal on the spot. Yeah.
This guy is somebody that we want our daughter or son to be with.
I liked it a lot. There you go, Robbie. I hope that gave you all the information you need.
Who else emailed us, Salty Dalton?
Let's see here. We have Ray Lee. 26, and the subject is Dating Doom. Dating Doom. Sounds like a show.
It does.
That could be a show about, like, purposely bad first dates and see how long you can make it.
Not a bad idea.
Okay. Thanks, Rayleigh. I'm going to pocket that in the idea bucket. Have to go on a first date for the first time in 7 years due to a recent and earth-shattering breakup. That's never fun. 7 years. That's a 7-year relationship.
That's a long time.
If we thought we were removed from the dating pool for the last several years, imagine what it'd be like after 7 years to have to step back into that realm, right? Not particularly into the idea of dates, but I have to move on somehow. Okay, all right, you've been progressive. It's true. You got to pick yourself up. Any tips to make this easier? Okay, so how to make dating easier after not being in the dating pool
Oh man,
for that long.
really. So it's tough. It's tough,
It is
really.
tough.
If you haven't been on the market, as they say, in a while. Well, here's what the kind of modern dating game is, and you and I, Salty Dalton, have not been in the modern dating game for a while as well. But this is what I picked up from the kids on the interwebs.
Yeah.
Here's what you're gonna do, Ray Lee. You're gonna find. Ever heard of the term meme or meme?
Meme?
Some people like to say, Ray Lee.
Okay.
What you're going to do is you're going to compile a dating profile. And your dating profile, which is very important, you're going to include a lot of memes, as they say. So go through the internet, find a lot of different memes that are funny to you specifically, or to things that you like, or things like that. And then your dating profile is going to consist entirely of these memes. And here's what the thing, Rayleigh. People in today's society understand what these are. And so they're going to look through and they go, man, this Rayleigh girl, she's got a lot of funny memes on her profile. And I want to get to know her better.
Okay.
And that's my suggestion.
So memes are your suggestion.
Memes are my
After
suggestion.
a 7-year relationship, throw a bunch of memes on your Tinder profile.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. You don't need pictures of yourself.
Right.
Just use memes.
That'd be interesting. Okay. My suggestion would probably be speed dating.
Okay.
Right? Because so you're there, you're new. Speed dating, you get like 2 minutes. And so you're limiting your exposure with the person.
Yeah.
Right? So you're basically having like 12 first dates in 1 hour. Because you get a couple minutes per person.
Yeah.
That's the best way to like get back into the dating realm, you know?
You're
Because
not
it's
wrong.
like, hey, guess what? That's not a big deal. I had 12 dates in 1 hour.
Yeah.
I can easily go on an hour-length date in the future with one person now. It's like scaling your expectation, right?
Plus, you can limit like the amount of interesting things about you down to like 30 seconds.
You can be like, name, occupation,
Yeah.
weight, height. Here you go. This
Yeah.
is me.
2 fun facts. It's like,
Yeah.
I like sharks.
Basically, you get to try crazy stuff. You can ask bizarre questions, see if
Yeah.
it works or not. Do a bunch of speed dating. I'm talking like 3 or 4 sessions in one day, and you become an expert at dates
Yeah.
in probably like 3 or 4 days.
You're the best dater that anybody will ever know.
And then, you'll be moving on. You'll be looking back on this podcast 3 years from now, being like, that's how I met my wife
I like
or
it.
husband or life partner.
Rayleigh, that's what you should do. Last email. Eric, 28 years old. The subject line is live stream. When can you guys do a live show or something? Eric is asking. So, here's the thing, Eric. We're working on it.
Yeah.
We
Come on, Eric. Can you get off our back for once in your life?
Eric, like, you've been on us from the beginning. We've been getting this email from you for we haven't even hit our first year anniversary of the show, and Eric has been emailing us constantly.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, Salty Dalton. Next month will signal our year anniversary.
Will it? August is when we started this whole
August is when
thing.
we started the show.
1 year.
I got to figure out the exact date of when we first worked on the recording.
So we first started recording in August, but we didn't
Yeah.
post until we were like 3 episodes deep.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking like late August is officially the 1 year release mark.
Man, we're getting close. It's not that far away.
That's crazy.
But Eric wants a live show. Eric, if you want a live show,
Then do it yourself, Eric.
do it yourself. Like, come here. I'll give you Salty Dalton's address. I'll write it to you in an email. Look, if you are interested in a live show as well, email us therandomwordblog@gmail.com. If we get enough interest, then we'll try to work something out. That's all we'll say. That's all we'll say.
How do we close the show?
How
I already forgot.
did we close the show last episode? I don't remember. I think you gave a... What did you do?
What?
Oh, it was a word where we had to say...
Oh, we both go 3, 2, 1,
And we had to try to guess
say
the
a
same
word, and
thing.
it can't be the same word you said before.
Yeah. So this is episode 42. Again, we'll be off next week. If you're listening to this, technically next week of when we're
Well, they'll
recording
get
this.
2 episodes. So they'll get you'll get 2 episodes next
And
week
then
and
a
the week
week off.
after that. Yeah, okay.
And then we'll be back to normal schedule because Salty Dalton will be traveling. So you get 2 episodes over the next couple weeks here. So enjoy it, people. But yes,
Eric.
So yeah, Eric, God, live show. Why don't you show up at Dalton's house late at night?
Yeah.
1 a.m. I'll give you the passcode.
Please don't.
It's 4-5. So here's how we do it. So Salty Dalton's going to count down, and we're going to each say a word. The first thing that pops into our head.
1, 2, 3,
wait,
and then you say it.
Yeah. Don't do it yet.
Okay. Are you ready?
Okay.
You got a word in your mind? Let's do this. Let's link minds right now. You and me are on the same wavelength.
Okay.
Okay, ready?
Okay. Hold on.
I got my word ready to go.
All right.
Ready?
Yep.
1, 2, 3. Life
Cabernet.
Fest. Cabernet?
Yeah.
Damn. Okay.
What
I
did you
said
say?
Life Fest.
Life Fest?
Yeah.
That's like-
We were off. We'll get it next week.
I'm hoping.
We'll get it next week.
The more we do it, the more we'll get close to each other.
We got this.
At some point, we got to take one of those tubes that connects our heads.
If we get it right, we have to do something crazy.
Yeah, probably like end the show.
It's just right there and then. Okay.
Yeah, that'll be it.
All right. Well, thanks for listening, guys.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
Yeah, episode
Rando
42
Nation.
closing out.
Another episode in the books. We'll be back in a couple of weeks.
We outie.
Random Word Podcast. Sayonara, my sweet stalkers. You said we outie.
We outie.
All right. See you, everybody.